some of the work that we're doing. I think Michelle framed it very nicely as far as some of the initiatives that we are doing in South Africa with technology and especially communication. So just based on what Michelle is saying, I think what we are trying to do is very much connected with what they are doing in terms of we are aware that there are 200 million youth in Africa that are going to need jobs within the next 10 years. So what we're doing about this is we looking at how technology and ICT can support this process. So as far as how can we get the youth to learn new skills in order to become more work ready. Okay, so obviously there are one or two components around that. The first component being the communication to youth, because obviously not all youth in Africa have readily access to internet available. So what we're doing in our communication is we're using push to text mobile communication, and we're looking at how we can develop applications that are accessible on mobile phones. Just going back to the topic, I think there's four key points that I'll be touching on. The first, just to keep it brief as well. The first one is insights on how innovation and ICT supports nonprofits. So firstly, just to frame that again, I think it's important just to say that from kind of my perspective, the way I see this is there's two main components, and that being the advances of accessible technology, so technology that is readily available. Like the UN says in its 8th MDG for creating global partnerships, one of the subtasks of that is to improve the access of technology. As well as there's many advancements in technology, I think a lot of people and what we are doing is improving basic access to the readily available technology. It's not always a case of innovating, it's more a case of making those innovations available to new people. And then also the second part is also the use of communication. So what nonprofits are able to do now is they are able to take on more responsibility to set up better governance and communication structures. As these are traditionally run by corporates, these tools are now readily available for nonprofits to use them as well. So the notion of nonprofits being undervalued and they shouldn't and can't invest in ICT technologies is not correct. And now we have the opportunity to step up and use these readily available technologies. There's two examples that I'd like to point out on that. Firstly, the one is Google Tools. There's obviously like very basic collaborative tools that make it easy for organizations to collaborate with a lot of their work. The second one is an organization, or it's a startup in the United States called Stay Classy, and they basically, all that you have to do is sign up and you basically get a toolkit to manage a fundraising campaign. It uses not only social networks, but it taps into your peer and supporter networks and provides a fantastic framework for people running fundraising campaigns to share support, track the funds they are generating, as well as manage that entire process and communicate to all the relevant people. So a bit of our work is around promoting volunteerism. So let me just touch and share on what we are doing. So in South Africa, we have built technology based on the learnings that corporates use for staff employment. So we're looking at how is the work valued and how is it reported on, and also how can we more effectively manage this process. Corporates and companies are paying their staff salaries, and they want to be really accountable for that staff's progress and the basically outputs that they're getting from the employee. So we want to take the same mindset and governance structure and apply that to youth volunteering, because we understand the need for skills development in order to make youth more employable going into the future. In this process, youth can obviously also learn new skills, gain new interest, as well as gain exposure and experience. also part of the process of what we're doing is looking at the reporting tools, which is quite key, because we must be able, as non-profits and as social change projects, we must be able to effectively report on our impact, our volunteer contribution, and again, the skills that are being developed through existing programs and structures. So we are not trying to create new programs and new structures, we're just creating a better framework for those to be communicated and for those to be reported upon. And then on the other side, another value add is the communication element of the RTCs available. Obviously, with the youth not having readily available internet access, we obviously put the readily available technology or communication technology in the hands of the organizations that manage their volunteers. So now they've got a tool where they can log into a website and basically push SMSs and updates and reports from a centralized dashboard. Okay, then the next part is the next part that I'd like to touch on is like, how does this help achieve social change? So I personally am a great believer in the quality of great products and that great products speak for themselves. Like I said, ICT can provide the framework and extensive communication for sharing tools, which is impactful. I think what's key for us is the ability to report on the social impact more effectively, and how can we track that work. The last point that I'd like to touch on just in closing, as part of the discussion that I was asked to share about was whether reliance on government and all corporates and corporations is necessary to achieve ICT-based solutions. Personally, I wouldn't say that reliance is the right word, but I would like to say that rather we should talk about the buy-in or support from governments and corporates. Because I mean, whether it's non-profit or not, whether it's a social change project or not, it needs to add value. And creating this value, especially in the non-profit scene, is very challenging. And I mean, if you can get it right and get buy-in from governments and from corporates, you know you're onto something great, you know, and then governments and corporations will only make your impact spread further. Okay, and then just in closing, I mean, it's exciting what our generation can achieve. Like, in a way, we're the ones that are holding the baton for technology, and we're the ones who are making the learnings as we go. If you look at the Facebook IPO, legislations on governmental spy programs, the impact of our actions, and the fact that all individuals now have publishing power through various platforms that they don't even realize that responsibility. I mean, that's very exciting, and that's what we're kind of taking going forward, and just spreading that into the hands of effective change makers as far as non-profit organizations and social change activists. That's what I had prepared. I'm sure we'll have some questions and everything in later, but hopefully I was able to share a little bit about what we're doing with ICTs and technology in South Africa, and obviously spreading this into Africa. If I can say in closing as well, that for all the shapers out there, the Coca-Cola grant voting opens on Monday, and we have entered this project into that, so we appreciate your vote so we can extend our project into the rest of Africa. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Duncan, and of all this, I will be sure to vote for your project as from Monday.
Thank you.
So, our next speaker is Sujit from India. Sujit, I will come to speaking and Luciano is staying up all night because he's from Brazil and obviously the time difference is not being generous to him, but he has kindly accepted to share his perspective. Luciano, I've granted you microphone control as well as video.
Can you hear me?
You. Hola.
Yes.
Hello, Luciano.
So first, sorry because I'm sick, so my voice is kind of bad right now. But
That's all right. We understand you have to see very late.
no worries, I'm partying.
Yeah, if you wish, we can play the video, the Beyond 2016 video, to give an idea.